Oh, yeah, kombucha.
Lauren McDonald's right there where they redid 40 and moved it over.
All right, go ahead and call this meeting in order. First item is roll call.
Alderman Knox.
Here.
Alderman Lindbergh Gardner.
Here.
Alderman Myers.
Here.
Alderman Skinner.
Here.
Alderman Soul.
Here.
Alderman Bray. There's a quorum.
Next item will be an invocation led by the pastor of First Baptist Church, followed by a pledge of allegiance from Alderman Myers.
God, thank you for this opportunity to gather with such important business and matters of this growing community. We pray for your guidance, your wisdom, your insight, your direction, and I pray specifically that you bless these leaders abundantly in all their actions. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item will be the approval of the agenda.
No changes, Mayor.
Next up, then the police officer oath of office for Officer Alexander Rowe.
Please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. So I state your name.
I, Alexander Rowe,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and the state of Missouri.
and the state of Missouri,
That I will observe the provisions
that I will observe the provisions
and the ordinances
and the ordinances
of the city of Green Valley.
of the city of Grand Valley,
And that I will faithfully discharge all of my duties
and that I will faithfully discharge all my duties
as a member of the Green Valley, Missouri Police Department.
as a member of the Grand Valley, Missouri Police Department.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Acting chief.
I do want to take a minute to congratulate Officer Rowe. He graduated 5th out of 40 plus recruits in the 184th entrant class at Kansas City. So very good job. We're very proud of him.
I didn't think we could get that tight.
Next item is public comment. We ask citizens who wish to address the board come forward to the podium and microphone. Please make sure you've signed in for your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Do we have anyone who wishes to address the board this evening? Seeing none, move on to consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Here to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Seeing no previous business or new business, move on to presentations. First presentation is from the auditor, is the auditor presentation by Trout, Beeman and Company.
And members of the Board of Aldermen, Administration, I'm Butch Beeman,
partner with Trout Beeman and Company, and our firm has had the privilege of doing the city's audit this past year, and we hope it was a positive experience for the city and its staff. Those of you that have seen this presentation before, you know that you've got you've got two documents, one that's bound and then one that's very thin, and you see mine is very thin. I leave it up to you to cover that big one and at night in your reading. And if you have any questions at all as I'm speaking, you just jump right in. I want to put some highlights, and then I certainly want to be open to questions. The first thing I would want to bring to your attention, again, in the thick document, or if you're looking at it on your computer, it's a hefty PDF, but management's discussion and analysis. I probably haven't said enough about that in prior presentations. That is, I mean, you can see where it's placed. I mean, it's right up front, and it's an important document for a couple of reasons. Number one, city staff prepares it, and they put a lot of time and effort into it. We can't prepare it. We're prohibited from preparing that. It's management's discussion and analysis. And the reason I like it also is that the financial statements that we have to prepare in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles get to be a little bit overwhelming sometimes. And boy, they're all lined up nice and even, and you know the debits equal the credits and all that stuff. But in management discussion and analysis, there's a lot more narrative as well as graphic information that's in color, kind of catches your attention. And Stephen and his team can highlight things in a really meaningful way. So I do encourage you to read through that. There's a lot of good information in there. Moving on to page 1, the auditor's report. It is our independent auditor's report. In the second paragraph, we talk about that the audit was performed in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards, and those encompass a wide variety of things. We interview management, we interview members of those charged with governance, we interview employees as appropriate. We select testing, we select invoices and vouch and make sure they're properly approved, budgeted. We look at check signers, are they the ones that have been approved by you all, and do we have the right signatures in place? We confirm debt with the bank or underwriters that hold that debt. We confirm bank balances with the banks that you have money invested with. What else do we do? I mean, there's a lot of different things that go on in generally accepted auditing standards. We also do some compliance type testing. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but that all encompasses the audit. And then you go to the first paragraph, the opinion. Now, I'm not going to read that to you, but the paraphrase, it says that financial statements are presented fairly in all material respects. That is the highest level of opinion that we can render on an entity's financial statements. It's kind of backwards, it's called an unqualified report, but it's very much a clean report. And again, it is the highest level you can get. It's certainly what you all look for in your fiduciary capacity sitting up there. You want the city to get that kind of report and hope that business is conducted in a fashion that we can render that opinion. Want to highlight just a few things in the financial statements. Page 4 and 5 are the government-wide statements, so it encompasses all funds of the city of Green Valley. Unrestricted cash, pretty much the first line on that page 4, it shows that it's $25 million, just about $350,000 more than a year ago. Restricted cash is down significant capital improvements, all planned for, anticipated. So, it's good that you have the cash to do that because there was no new debt taken on during this fiscal year. Statement of activities on the next page, and it's the one that lays kind of wonky, but this would be like an income statement, although it's probably not like any income statement you've ever seen. But if you look at the third line from the bottom, you'll see that the proprietary fund, the business funds, if you will, those increased $211,000 from a year ago. And to the left, in the general government, net assets increased by 3.3 million. And I would also note specifically that sales tax revenue was up a little over $400,000, 9.3%. The city obviously is growing. You don't have to spend much time here to notice that. And it's paying off in your financial position. Now, it also requires quite a little bit of investing in infrastructure and working with developers, but you guys are doing a lot of things right in that respect. Pages 19 through 52 are the notes to the financial statements. Lots of information in there, the purpose of which is to help clarify, amplify, whatever, things that may be going on in the financial statements. They're prescribed by our professional standards, and so I just want to highlight a couple of them because I think they're of real importance to you all. Page 29, note number 2. I'll give you a catch up with me. I mentioned compliance earlier, and now I want to talk a little bit about that. I said that we confirm your cash balances with the banks, but we also are confirming what collateral they have put up to pledge to the city of Green Valley, so that should something happen to the bank, you suffer no loss of funds. And you're required to do that by law, but even if you weren't, it obviously would be very sound business practice. But and so one of the things we test is, okay, well, here's how much cash you have. You got FDIC coverage. Now, what additional securities have they pledged? And the state statutes dictate what type of securities they can pledge. And all of your cash, was adequately collateralized. You have not been out a dollar. Heaven forbid something should happen to one of the financial institutions. And the other thing I would talk about compliance is on page 39. There's a lot of information going on here, talking about your various items of debt. I believe first thing I would share with you is top of page 39. I mentioned that there were no additions to your debt this year, and there weren't. In fact, you retired in the governmental fund $2.56 million of debt, and you have essentially no real debt in the business type activities. But continuing on the following pages, there's a lot of discussion about the city will do this and the city will do that, and they come from the covenants of the debt documents that you sign when you agree to borrow the public's money, so that they know that you're going to do these things so that down the road you've got sufficient funds to pay principal and interest, you've got sufficient funds to reserve funds so that catastrophe comes along and you've got money set aside to do that. And we test all those, whatever the covenants are, the various bond issues, and you're in compliance with all of those. One of them's a rate covenant. You're required to set rates in your utility funds sufficient to provide the cash flow to accumulate those monies. Now, that's all that I have to share with that bigger document, and I would simply, the thin one, I would want you to know it's labeled communication with those charged with governance, and that's you all. And it's probably about 4 or 5 pages, but I can summarize it in 3 sentences. A, there were no disagreements with management during the course of the audit. There were no difficulties in terms of our firm being able to perform the audit. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. And there was no evidence of city management conducting what's called opinion shopping That would be where I'll pick on Stephen. He calls Butch and says, you know, we're thinking about doing this, and here's the transaction I believe or I want to make. And I said, no, that's not quite what it has to be. Well, that's not the answer he wanted. And so he calls another firm to see if he can get an answer that he likes. And that's what's called opinion shopping. And we have to tell you all if we find any evidence of that. And we certainly did not. I mentioned no difficulties in conducting the audit, and that's certainly true. We had none. Stephen and your finance team did a very good job of preparing for, organizing, and being responsive to our request for information or data, documents, whatever the case may be. In conclusion, the city finished the year in a very sound financial position, and certainly I would take any questions. Pretty informal in that respect, so just yell out if you've got something you want to direct my way.
Just one question. On page 2 of this document, the smaller one, it says the risk identified. There was 2 risks: improper revenue recognition and management override of internal controls.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
That doesn't mean the city has those risks.
Oh, okay.
When we plan an audit engagement, we have to assess what the risk might be
Gotcha.
regarding those 2 areas. Again, that's specified by our professional standards. So, and we evaluate that. We look at the controls that the city has in place to, you know, in terms of recording revenue and is it properly accounted for. Same thing with management override of controls. We're looking for things like, often you'll find that in journal entries where staff perhaps does the accounting, and then someone up above that in management comes along and makes a journal entry and changes that. That can be an indication that maybe, but not always. And so that's not saying that the city has risk in those areas. You do, but we assess it and adjust our auditing accordingly. That's not a negative or a criticism of the city.
Okay.
In
Thanks.
any way. It was a good question.
Thanks.
Well, nobody's asked that. Not here. I mean, nobody ever says that. I always leave you with the comment that we serve you year round. It's not just when we're up here doing the audit. I'm here making a presentation. If you have any questions at any time, on to Stephen, Jamie, whatever. They're the 2 that would, you know, liaison with our firm, and we'll get you the answer and go from there. So I would thank you again. We appreciate the relationship we have with the city and the opportunity to serve as your auditor.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, next presentation is from pavement. Is the pavement condition assessment presentation by Infrastructure Management Services.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Turek, Client Services Manager for ICC IMS. The reason for the acronym is we are international cybernetics company doing business as Infrastructure Management Services. I'm here today to talk about our services as it relates to pavement condition assessments and sidewalk condition assessments. IMS did a similar project in 2020 where we did data collection of all the roadway attributes as it is defined by the ASTM standard for pavement condition index, also called a PCI. We use state-of-the-art technology referred to as LCMS, a lot of abbreviations, I apologize for that. That's laser crack measurement system. Very high-tech 3D cameras downward facing, capturing all the cracks within the pavement. In a similar fashion, we collect all the sidewalk data using a sidewalk surface tester, which I'll share here in a little bit. Our process, summarized, is gathering what information you have as it relates to those assets, which are valuable and need to be taken care of. We then meet with city staff for a kickoff meeting. We do the actual data collection, keeping you informed on our progress. Once that data has been processed, we're able to deliver the pavement condition index as well as the sidewalk condition index. From there, once approved, we work on an analysis and come up with a multi-year pavement management plan, and similarly something for the sidewalks as well. I won't spend a lot of time beyond letting you know that each of the surveys will only take a few days. I would say 2 or 3 days for the pavement, maybe a week, week and a half for the sidewalks, just because of the cumbersome aspect of that. Part of our deliverable includes a web-hosted viewer, which is something that I'll share in a little bit as well. I mentioned the LCMS2. These are the vans that we have. We'll mobilize one of those here to the city, do the data collection. I think I mentioned 3D cameras downward facing in order to get very detailed data. We'll be able to do a comparison to the past cycle as well. I won't spend a lot of time on the data quality management plan other than to let you know that we have one. It's very vigorous, starting with calibrations not only on-site but being tested at nationally recognized test locations. We do a lot of QA/QC of that data to make sure that what we're delivering is accurate. In a similar fashion, and this is one of our sidewalk surface testers, it's been narrowed to allow for a 36-inch data collection, and we have similar technology on this vehicle as well in order to get accurate data. Just some of the images that we're able to capture with that sidewalk surface tester. It's able to get links, widths, any obstructions, trip hazards are the primary focus when doing a sidewalk data collection. We use an Excel-based spreadsheet that's proprietary to our company, but we can use any software out there. This is just a recommended one because of the flexibility, ease of use, and the ability to develop a 5-year plan based on prioritizations as we work with staff to develop that. Communication plan, we start off with a kickoff meeting, do quite a few of information providing of the status of each of the processes, including data collection, the processing of the data, and then the deliverables from there. Usually that's a weekly snapshot that we provide city staff. And this is the web-hosted viewer, another one of our deliverables. As we drive, whether it be the roads or the sidewalks, we're collecting all the imagery, not only downward facing, but outward. That's a 360 camera on this particular view that can be moved around, and you can see where you're at in the city, go to that location, and then do a virtual drive with all the information, whether it be the PCI that I mentioned earlier or other data related to the roadway network. Same with the sidewalks as well. And the fees are there if there's any discussion or questions on that. And that was everything I was hoping to cover. Short and sweet. Are there any questions?
Any questions?
Does this start?
What's that?
When we gonna start this?
Yeah, so we would be hoping this year to get going with that. So he mentioned the 5-year thing. So in 2020, we started that knowing it'd be a 5-year plan. I mean, it comes out with a table and kind of guides you along, but obviously over the 5-year term, like some things change. It can't all be measured in a, it's not all a linear graph. Some roads deteriorate faster than others. So the idea is every 5 years you come back and do it. We did ask them to do another presentation, just knowing that at this point, a lot of people that are on the board weren't here when we did it in 2020. So it's essentially just renewing what we did back then.
You saying I'm old?
You seasoned. Yeah.
Any additional questions? All right, thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Great that you guys did.
Okay, that's it for presentations. We have no public hearings. Up next will be resolutions. First one is resolution R25-39. It's a resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Grand Valley, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to enter into an agreement with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley to extend the term of the on-call professional services agreement for engineering services.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve resolution R25-39.
I have a motion from Alderman Myers to approve resolution R25-39. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mayor, members of the board, CMT has been our on-call engineer. This is just an extension that was built into the original contract with them that allowed us to re-up that for 2 years. So that's what we are asking the board for.
Any questions or discussion?
Do we have we refilled Dick's position, or is that still open?
We have not. If you remember at the
Yeah, I
what
remember
was
you
the-
brought it up.
The last meeting or the meeting before that, we entered into the agreement with the headhunting firm.
Yeah. Okay.
We have not got anybody yet at this point.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks.
So that is something else that for on-call services they fill in as needed for that.
Anything additional? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Next up is resolution R25-40, a resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Grand Valley authorizing the city administrator to sign an agreement with Infrastructure Management Services to provide a comprehensive pavement condition assessment.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we pass resolution R 25-40.
Motion by Knox to approve resolution R25-40. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mayor, members of the board, this would be the agreement that coincided with the presentation you just saw.
Any discussion or questions?
Patrick, how useful is that information that you guys get from that company?
Yeah, so it is what we use to develop the capital improvements program for the overlay, annual overlay projects that we do, and it all is utilized to develop that plan.
How is it? Is it worth the money? Is that that's
Yeah,
basically
so
what
what
I'm
it
asking
does,
you.
it helps identify the different grades of the road, because sometimes if a road is so bad, you don't want to be throwing good money after bad, and so it helps kind of navigate those hurdles as far as trying to identify where is the best money spent to stretch that dollar and to make everything work.
Okay, does it make your guys' job easier?
Yes.
Okay.
So no.
Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Next is resolution R25-41, a resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Grand Valley, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to enter into an agreement with Gerald Tink and Steel for the construction of a new 1 million gallon elevated water tower.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the resolution R25-41.
I have a motion by Alderman Limber Gardner to approve resolution R25-41. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Mayor, members of the board, this has been an ongoing process here for a little while, where CMT had come in after they did the initial study, basically, and came up with our options on the water tower, and then we had them go out, put together a request for qualifications for that, or proposals, and we got those back, and Gerard is the company that was what we believe to be the lowest and best bid on that. So if you remember, this one's going to go right next to the tower that is there now on Tire Road. But this will not only let us meet the fire flow requirements going into the future, but also gives us some more space for development as we move on.
My only question I have is, does this account for some of the, I guess, new planned development going towards Oak Grove? Would that be the same water tower that would feed that, or I guess additionally we would need another one?
Yeah, so when we looked at all of this, we looked at future growth, and actually it does account for that. When you look at our modeling in the future, I think that if we were to need something if we grew to the north a ton, we would probably need something further north. And that's more of an elevation thing. As you go north, the elevation goes up, so you can only get the tower so high to get the pressure up there. But as far as going to the east, that flow actually works.
Okay, thanks.
This will help us with the Ward project.
Mm-hmm.
We won't have to have another one out east then.
We don't anticipate there being one there. Like I said, the next need was if the city were to grow a lot to the north, that's where we would struggle to actually get water pressure up there.
Additional questions or discussion?
Are we able to ask about that land going east? yet? Or can we openly talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have anything else on it at this point. We're still just working.
Yeah, I just wanted an update to see if anything was annexed or.
It is not.
Okay.
Did they know, I know this is probably not a good time to ask, but did they know when they were gonna get a deadline on if they were approved for the bond, for the grant?
Yeah, I mean, it's all ongoing right now.
Okay.
But,
Nothing further.
Nothing further, right?
Need more water out east, but it kind of surprises me. That tower is gonna handle out east okay, but. Interesting.
if you think about what we have now size-wise, I mean, that's, what do we got? What is that one, 500,000, that tire right now? So you're building a water tower up there that's twice the size that we have now and not getting rid of anything.
All right. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. That's it for resolutions. Up next will be ordinances.
This is the second reading of Bill Number B25-12. This is an ordinance of the City of Grain Valley, Missouri, to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain municipal officials.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we accept the second reading of bill number B25-12 and approve it as ordinance number 2473.
A motion from Alderman Skinner to approve Bill B25-12 for its second reading, make it ordinance 2473. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, let's be a roll call.
Alderman Knox,
Yes.
Alderman Lindbergh Gardner,
Yes.
Alderman Myers,
Yes.
Alderman Skinner,
Yes.
Alderman Soul.
Yes.
It passes 5-0. This is the first reading of Bill Number B25-13. This is an ordinance authorizing the city administrator to approve a real estate donation agreement and accept the property on behalf of the City of Grain Valley, Missouri.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we accept the first reading of bill number B2513 and bring it back for a second reading by title only at our next regular session.
I have a motion from Alderman Stoll to approve Bill B25-13 for its first reading, bring it back by title only for its second reading. Do I have a second?
Second.
So, Mayor, members of the board, this is the kind of the landlocked parcel in there between the row of commercial building that you see on Main Street and then kind of where the Assistance Council is. It's kind of set, it is just a rectangle that's sitting there. That's not tied to any of the other buildings. So this is something when we were approached about the donation, thought for downtown and the need for parking there, it made sense for us to accept that and then work with the property owners that are around there to kind of put a conjoined parking area to maximize the space that we have down there for parking or events or any of that.
Help me out. Where's it at?
So if you, like, say you were behind Iron Kettle or the Hair Room, we have an alley that runs there that runs to the bank.
Yep.
And then directly to the west, there's a rectangle parcel that just sits there.
Right.
It's
Right now
not
it's all-
tied to another.
Right, busted up and holds big pools of water.
Yeah, well, just kind of looks like a
Yeah.
parking lot.
So prior to Jim Kissick's death, we actually had a plan back then to work with him because he owned all of it, to basically put it together. He would do the work, and then it would become a city lot. Obviously, unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, and it's something that we have been working on ever since. So now it has come back around. We are to that point where they're looking at donating it. We just think it would be it's needed down there. You see it there?
Okay. Yep.
It's very odd. There's no two ways to.
Kind of like they built all the way around it for some reason.
Cool. So we would just use it for parking?
I mean, the idea would, like, parking for a lot of the time, but it also could be a decent sized open space to have something down there as well for special events.
Cool.
Any questions or discussion?
Might be a safer spot for some food trucks to park back there and congregate. Just thought.
We can shut down Main Street.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. for ordinances then. Up next, city attorney's reports.
Members of the board, I just wanted to note, since we've got some new folks that I'm going to be taking over as a primary contact with the firm, Lauber Municipal Law, for the city of Green Valley. Mr. Lauber is stepping into some other projects, and so I'm going to be the primary point of contact. And since we have some new folks, I thought I'd introduce myself. And I've worked with some of you before on some other projects. So the only other thing I have to note is that our office will be closed on September 1st for Labor Day. So if anybody has anything, needs to reach out, feel free.
All right. Next up, city administrator and staff reports.
Mr. Martin.
Yeah, Mayor and members of the board, just wanted to remind everybody that we're going to be hosting the Household Hazardous Waste event next Saturday, September 6th, out at the Jackson County Public Works Facility. It's a joint effort between us, the city of Oak Grove, and then Jackson County. The event is from 8 a.m. to noon, and just share with anybody that might have items to dispose of.
And the only other thing, Alderman Skinner had reached out to staff about looking into buffer zones between residential and commercial properties. So that is something we've started researching what everybody else has around, and should have something at the next board meeting to kind of give some options for you guys to see how you want to move forward with that. That's the only other comments that staff had.
All right. Next up, the board alderman reports and comments. Alderman Soul.
Nothing to report.
Member Gardner.
This time.
Alderman Skinner.
Well, Ken kind of took my thunder, so
What?
he knew. He's like, let's not get Skinner started. So, no, Patrick, appreciate looking at that intersection that I sent over. It seems like those are just popping up continuously in Rosewood. If you go on Google Maps and look at that picture I sent, it's like the neighborhood just stopped and then it started again. It's a very weird intersection, so I appreciate that. I think that's maybe the last one in the neighborhood. I know on the last one, just keep in mind, speed was the big factor to get that one through on the test. So just throw that out there. And then on the green zone, so with the city expanding, just thought it would be a good idea to look into putting some sort of buffer zone between single family residential and other zoning categories, multifamily, commercial, industrial. A really good example of this, if you ever want to look at what I'm talking about, is the Dollar General on the north side of town where the shooting was at like a month ago. This was at one time, just a quiet single family residential neighborhood. Obviously there's commercial zone there, right? But this Dollar General came in, they put a parking lot up against, within 10, 15 feet or so of the fence, the homeowners' fences. Cars are parking there throughout the night. There's street lights in the parking lot that shine in. There's semis that park there and idle all throughout the night. They actually weren't even required to put up their own fence. So, there's commercial mowers that are beating up against these homeowners' fences. And so the idea being that there's a green space, a buffer, I like to call it like a green buffer that's put in 20, 30 yards, whatever we want to do, with, requirements for, maybe some shrubbery, some trees, some sort of just stuff to kind of knock out the light and the noise, especially with the city wanting to expand, as it looks like we're going to. I think this is going to be very much needed and helps. Obviously, single family residential is kind of the bedrock of our community and just kind of protecting from that aspect. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Alderman Knox.
I have nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Alderman Myers.
Yeah, just a couple things. One, I want to, Lakeview Drive is being recovered in my neighborhood, and I'm thankful for that. It's being resurfaced. And then I just want to salute the city staff for a positive audit report. I think that's good news. So thank you. That's it.
Next up, mayor's reports. Only other report is that we will be holding the fair before our next meeting, be the 5th and the 6th. With that, then we have the parade on the morning of the 6th at 10 a.m. So there will be road closures involved in that. So if you have anybody ask about that, I think the city will put up a detour map, and I did as well on the fair page. So be sure to check that. So pretty much downtown area, probably between 10 and 11:30, it'll be kind of a mess. So I don't know how people will get to the hazardous waste thing, so.
Just go around during that.
Yeah.
We
just-
will put something out about that too.
Yeah.
We just put your cell phone number up on our social.
I put it everywhere.
Sweet.
I always put it out there.
Well, the waste thing's gonna be out of the county's facility, isn't it, as usual?
Yeah.
Sir. Yeah, so we'll have to go around and loop. Yeah, when I first saw it, I thought, but, you know. Hopefully everyone who wants to drop their paint off does it before 10, so.
Hopefully they're early.
So, that is all I have. Unless someone has anything else, we'll adjourn.